Hello everyone, welcome to our garden talks, and thank you all so much for coming. If you've not been to one of our garden talks before, it's a great opportunity to network, to enjoy the gardens in the sunshine today, we're lucky enough, and to enjoy some of our guest speakers. First up, we've got Cameron, who is an incredible young designer, and we're going to kick off with Cameron introducing himself. So could you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your business?
My name's Cameron Trend. I work for Cameron Trend Garden Design, and we design projects from sort of small urban courtyards to much larger country estates and sort of anything in between. I've been designing gardens for about 6 years now, and I've been quite fortunate enough to work, well, we've designed, it's nearing on sort of 90 gardens, and over sort of 40, 50 have been actually built. So, yeah, I've been quite fortunate. And yeah, that's me.
Can I just say that, Cameron, I love how you're referring to you as we, because you're like, we've designed, but actually it's just you.
Yeah, well,
you are not giving yourself enough credit here, because it's you on your own. So like, you are smashing it, can I firstly say.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in garden design? Because a lot of people, like not always, but some people do kind of career change to become a garden designer, whereas you've kind of started from the off, and you've obviously started out really young. So tell us about your journey as to how you became a garden designer.
Yeah, so I first, I'd finished my GCSEs and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do A-levels, so I looked at Hadlow College and they did a horticultural course, which I quite liked the look of. Went enrolled, really enjoyed it. So I set up a gardening business, just working weekends on the side of my course. And I just absolutely loved it. It was good fun, got me outside, and I was sort of nurturing this business, and then I finished the course, then went full-time with the business, and just craved something a bit more creative, a bit more challenging. So I spotted a course in London, which was Inchbald School of Design, their garden design course, and saved up a bit of cash for that because it's not cheap. And then, enrolled on that, and not looked back. Just...
So as you sort of educated yourself in that world of garden design, for anyone watching, how did you get your first clients? How did you find coming out of there and establishing yourself as a garden designer and finding your first client and building momentum behind your knowledge?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually really struggled because I had this sort of gardening business where I wasn't getting paid much money at all, and it was really hard convincing clients that actually charge me. I'd charge a bit more, but I'm the same person, but I'm a designer. So I really struggled. So I couldn't convert any of those into new garden design clients. So I had to I created a website, advertised on Google, and I think it was about 6 months went by and I was really struggling. I was just gardening still, and I thought, well, I've invested all this money in a design course and not much to show for it. And then I got one client who actually, he found me on LinkedIn, I think, and he works for a big company in London, property developers, and he wanted his garden designed. So he reached out, took a chance on me, and that was one of the best. Well, it was my first sort of real project I got of a big scale, and it just sort of grew from there.
Thrown in at the deep end, then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what was your biggest hurdles on that project? Because I can imagine that was quite a large scale project to start with. What was the sort of constraints and hurdles that you had to overcome getting that across and doing that project?
Well, the first thing was I didn't really know how much time it would take me to design these gardens because I hadn't got loads of experience. And the second thing was working out budgets, because although I'd been a gardener, but I didn't realise how expensive or how hard work, how hard the landscapers work. So I struggled with budgets, but thankfully the client was a property developer who understood these things, and he could sort of guide me, and he definitely helped me out quite a bit with that.
Nice. And was he the one doing the work and doing the contracts and building the garden, or did you have to go out and find various contractors to help execute on the build side of it?
Yeah, good question. So I reached out to a few contractors, and I got them to tender, and it was challenging convincing these contractors to come and have a look at this garden because I was quite new. They came and had a look. The client got on really well with them, and the garden's built and it's looking nice.
Can you talk us through how you then work on a project now? Like literally talk us like step by step. So you presumably go and do a site visit, but what do you use any special tools or software or apps or anything to help you create your designs?
Yeah, so the process is I'll get a phone call from a client, sort of ask a few questions about how far they want to go with the design. Then I'll do a site visit. From that, I just get a really sort of detailed client brief, sort of see the site, understand the project. Then I send off my proposal. It's a 3 sort of staged process. I've got a concept design. Then we go into master planning, which is quite detailed construction drawings, sort of 3D visuals, and then the third stage, is planting plans, and then it's off to build.
Do you ever have any kind of like awkwardness with potential clients where they just don't quite understand how much budget they need for like a project? Because I don't know, maybe I'm being naive, but I imagine that some people would literally phone you up and be like, I have £100. Like, what can you do for me? And you're like,
Not a lot.
Yeah, it's like 5 plants.
Yeah, no, that happens a lot. And that's why that initial phone call is quite important, because you can kind of gauge, sort of ask questions and sort of understand exactly how far the client wants to go. It happens all the time. Even once I've done the site visit, literally a couple of weeks ago, I had a client that, she said we've got 100 grand to spend, and the husband said, well, I thought we had more 20. So it's hard.
It's a bit different.
But then we have these conversations and hopefully meet in the middle to create something that works for both of them.
What about how you have developed your own style, Cameron? Because I feel like, you said that, was it 50 gardeners you've had built
about
now?
40, 50
About
that have
40
actually
to
done.
50 that have actually been built. And do you find that over the time you've been a garden designer, you have now absolutely, you've got it down, you've got some little tricks that you use here and there that are a bit just, trademark Cameron Trend design?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think my style has definitely changed. When I first started out, I loved sort of super contemporary, quite sleek designs. But part of that was knowledge. I didn't understand that a lot of these things were causing a bit of a detriment to the environment. And now I'm quite conscious about using quite traditional materials, but still keeping in line with that sort of contemporary, modern feeling. I think it's definitely changed. I'm using a lot more planting now, which it can never be a bad thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. You smash it.
So you obviously have been building momentum since that first project. What would you say are the best ways for you to channel new business? Is it through just word of mouth and reputation, or are you utilising social media and your content? What's worked best for you, Cameron?
So the first 6 months I didn't have too much, and then I won that first project, and it sort of snowballed from there. But I think a pivotal moment for me was when I designed the garden here, because from that point, clients could actually come down and have a look and see an end sort of product. So I get a lot of work from clients coming here to see our show garden. Also, I think word of mouth is probably up there this year as the most of my leads. And then, Instagram. I've got quite a lot of interest through Instagram over the years.
Because you ran quite a lot of digital ads in the early stages, didn't you? I remember before you was doing the garden, you was running a big campaign digitally, and then you switched that off.
Yeah.
After you got the garden, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. So I spent a lot of money on Google Ads, probably too much, but it won me the first project, and I think, well, actually, no, it didn't. It didn't win me the first project. So, yeah, Google Ads wasn't great. It was LinkedIn. Yeah.
It's crazy, really, isn't it? That LinkedIn is basically a free tool, and that's how you got your first job. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, are you quite active on LinkedIn these days then, are you? Do you post quite regularly?
I try to, but yeah, it's just finding time. It's yeah, I'm really struggling. at the moment.
Juggling the many plates around the business. So if someone was getting into garden design now, what skills do you think they should focus on building?
I think what worked for me was actually going out and getting hands-on experience, looking after gardens, but also doing some landscaping. I realised how, yeah, I think you've got to go outside, work in the wet, work in all weathers, and get a good grounding of understanding of sort of what's involved.
Well, and it's also finding the right contractors to work with that you can
Yeah.
trust and rely on, and also leave with your customers to do a good job. How have you found that experience finding the right contractors?
Yeah, it's all, you always take a chance, don't you, when you're working with someone new? But generally, I've been quite lucky. I've worked with some great contractors, and they've been really generous with their knowledge. They wanted to sort of share, and sort of it's worked both ways.
I think that's what we like to do here. Is what I was going to say is, because when you first started, we was recommending a lot of people that we felt that you could work with and had synergy with, that would do a good job for you. So that's something that we're quite passionate about, is helping people up and coming, build that network of contacts and contractors. So yeah, that's something we're really passionate about helping with.
And the beauty of the show gardens here as well is that, it just showcases obviously what you can do, Cameron, because it's such a rare thing to be able to just pop to someone's back garden, have a little snoop around and, see if you like a design. And that's basically what you guys are doing here.
Have you done that before then, Emma, have you?
I know people. I don't really. Cameron, talk to me about mentors, because obviously, you are a garden designer and that is what you do, but also, you run your own business yourself. That is like a big undertaking. You're doing, like, as we were chatting about before we started, you're doing social media, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the accounts, you're literally doing everything. So have you had a mentor that you feel has like particularly helped you or guided you in the right way with your business?
I wouldn't say I had a mentor in particular, but there have been a lot of people that have helped me along the way. Something that's been really beneficial is I rent a co-working space in Tunbridge, and it's filled with other creatives. There's sort of architects, designers, graphic designers, and if there's been anything that I'm not sure about, I've been able to sort of turn to my left, and there's a lighting designer next to me. So it's just, really helpful.
Is there anything that's kind of caught you out when you first started your business, or even now? Are there things that you're like, didn't know I had to do this as part of my business, didn't realise I was now, a professional marketing assistant or whatever? Is there anything that you're like, didn't realise I had to do this, and now suddenly, you're in the deep end with it, sort of thing?
I think there's a lot of things, but the one that caught me out was I had no idea that I had to have a terms and conditions when I first started. I didn't know how to write one. I didn't know where to look. But thankfully, the Society of Garden Designers had sort of guidance on what to do, where to go.
What is this for? I didn't know that this was so it's like, as in, if your paving slabs breaks, it's not my fault, sort of thing.
Anything you design, you can be liable for. So there's safety. You've got to make sure that you're not designing something that's unsafe, and kids will fall over, kids will fall down or drown, and things like that. So you've just got to be really careful and just lay it all out, really, and make sure that everyone's on the same page, which is exactly what it does.
Okay, wow.
What about your workflow now then? We've obviously touched on the software that you use for designing gardens, but you're a one-man band. How do you manage the operations, the finance, the sales, the marketing, the design side? What tools are you using behind the scenes that people can have a look into? So
I use Vectorworks, which is an amazing software that sort of does all of the design in-house, in the one software. And for my renders, I use a software called Enscape, which plugs in and it sort of renders it all in lifetime as you're going. But also I've been using AI to sort of help me create budget sheets and just sort of streamline my work. There's some amazing softwares out there that's definitely worth a look at. So, yeah. So how do you manage that? You've got the creative side and the business side. How do you manage that? I don't really. I just I try and take a big holiday.
You juggle.
No, I don't. It's a real struggle, but I love what I do, and it's just pure passion. That everything along the way is something that I find fun and interesting. And if I don't know something or I don't know what to do, I'll look into it and lean on someone to help me if I need to.
Are you good at like switching off? Like, are you strict about like, because you said you rent a co-working space, so when you leave, are you like, that's it, I'm done for the day? Like, even if there's like a sort of last minute panic with a client or something, or are you always just like working on the business, like constantly, it's all you think about?
Yeah, I do. It's really hard to switch off, but I think it's a struggle. But that's what I found so useful about this co-working space was I can sort of shut my laptop. Once I leave the door, I have that feeling of leaving work and going home. And if I want to check my emails when I get back, or if I want to take calls, then it's totally down to me. But it's part of what I love, and I find it quite fun. But yeah, I don't know.
When you go to a client's project, where are you drawing inspiration from?
Often I'll. I often think that a garden will design itself. You turn up on site and the answers are already there. You can quite easily look at inside. If the interiors have been done, then you can draw inspiration from that. Or if a client shows you materials they like, or they sort of give you an idea of what they like, then it's quite easy to draw from that. So I don't ever find it too challenging.
Do a lot of clients come with like Pinterest boards and different mood boards, or sometimes is it just like they haven't got an idea of what they want and you'll help them along that process?
Yeah, Pinterest boards are the bane of my life. I often get one from a client, and I have to ask them to really condense it and make sure that that's exactly what they want. And if not,
they got a bit too creative.
Exactly that, yeah. But it's so easy, isn't it, on Pinterest, just to compile loads of info. But yeah,
definitely. Well, one more question then before we wrap up. What one piece of advice would you give someone young who's dreaming of doing what you're doing?
Firstly, you've got to go and get some hands-on experience. You've got to learn how to work hard, but also don't be afraid to be ambitious. I think it's part of the fun, and part of the reason I set up my business was I was 16. I was totally naive. I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, and I think there's something quite interesting about that. That's one of the best things to be, is naive sometimes, I think. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Cameron. That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.